Jai Shri Gurudev. Good morning, children. Hope you are all fine. Children, let us continue the lesson Sir CV Raman. So, we have come across many things about Sir CV Raman, and as I have explained you about his education, childhood, and he was appointed as Deputy Accountant General also, but he was not happy with this job even though he continued that. Let us see what happened next. In the year 1911, Raman was appointed Special Accountant General for Posts and Telegraphs in Calcutta. But when he was offered the post of professor at Calcutta University, he jumped at that offer and accepted the post gladly. Children, in 1911, Sir CV Raman was appointed as Special Accountant General for Postal Department in Calcutta. But later on, when he was offered as professor in Calcutta University, he happily jumped and accepted this post gladly. After working at Calcutta University for 15 years, he became the director of the Indian Institute of Science in Bengaluru. The Raman Research Institute was started in 1948. Children, he worked in Calcutta University for 15 years. Later on, he became the director of the Indian Institute of Science in Bengaluru. Now also, we have this Indian Institute of Science in Bangalore. So, the Raman Research Institute was started in 1941. He himself started this institute, Research Institute, in the year 1948. Raman resigned his post at the Indian Institute of Science and became the director of the Research Institute. Here, he conducted his research in physics until his death. Children, what post he had in the Indian Institute of Science, for that he resigned himself and he became the director of the Raman Research Institute. So here he conducted lot of research in physics until his death. So just he was happy in this institute and he satisfied whatever he had, his wishes, his desires were all satisfied here in this research center. Raman was a great scientist. Throughout his life, he was intensely attached to science. For the sake of science, he gave up the highly paid post of Special Accountant General and accepted a professorship at Calcutta University. Children, as you all know, he was having a great attachment towards science. For the sake of science only, he left the highly paid post, that is the Special Accountant General post in Calcutta, because of a professorship in Calcutta University. So this made him to resign his highly paid post, and as a normal common professor he worked in Calcutta University for 15 years. He would forget all about the food and rest while he was at work, and his wife had often to tell him that his breakfast or coffee was getting cold. Like all great scientists, Raman had a lot of curiosity. Either earlier in his life, while on a voyage to Europe, he saw the wonderful blue of the Mediterranean Sea. Children, he was so much deeply involved in his work that he usually forget about his coffee, breakfast, everything. His wife often used to remind him to just have his breakfast or coffee, otherwise it is getting cold. So this type of things Raman was interested, and like other common scientists, even he had lot of curiosity in his job. So Once upon a time, when he went on a voyage to Europe, just he was moving in the ship, a great voyage, a great uh, voyage towards the Mediterranean Sea. He saw a blue color on the Mediterranean Sea. This made him so curious why the colors are reflected on the sea water. This led to his work on the laws of light scattering in the liquids, and it ended in his discovery of the Raman effect. He was awarded the Nobel Prize for this in 1930. Children, this blue color on the Mediterranean Sea made him to invent, to discover the laws of light scattering in the liquids. So, this discovery was made by Sir CV Raman, and it was later on called as Raman Effect. The laws of light scattering was later on called as Raman Effect, and he was even awarded the Nobel Prize for this Raman Effect in the year 1930. Raman was a kind man. He helped people when they were in difficulty. When he was working as the Deputy Accountant General, a villager went to him with some badly burnt 100 rupee notes. Children, as a scientist, even he is a common kind man. Sir CV Raman was a very generous man. He helped many people when they are in difficulty. For example, it was an instance that when he was working as a Deputy Accountant General, a villager came to him with burnt 100 rupees notes. It was badly burnt, but he did not neglect him. Any other person perhaps would have turned the villager away, but Raman took pity on the villager, examined the notes himself, and allowed the villager to exchange the burnt notes for new ones. So he was working as an accountant general. A man came with badly burnt notes. If any other person was there in that place, they would have sent the villager back. But Raman did not do like that. He took pity on that villager. He examined all the notes, but he exchanged the notes for the new notes. So, this was the thing which shows the kindness in Sir CV Raman. Again, one more instance that once at the Raman Research Institute, a candidate was not given admission as he did not do well in his tests. When his travelling allowance was paid, the candidate found that he had received more. What happened, children? One more instance that once in the research institute, a candidate, a person came for the admission in the institute for the appointment, but as he did not do well in his entrance test, he was rejected. But during those time when they call for interview or entrance exams, they used to give the food and the travel allowance also. Travel allowance means money to go back to their places. So here also that person was rejected, that candidate did not select for the research center. He was given travel allowance, he was paid, but he found that the candidate came back because he had received the more money. So this was the honesty of that man. He returned to the office to pay back the excess amount. When Raman came to know of this, he liked the candidate's honesty and admitted him to the institute. Children, in this way, he was loved by all. And here, in this case, when the person came back to return the excess amount, his honesty showed him and he admitted that person to that institute. So he was appointed. The candidate was not able to make out why he was admitted when he had not done well in his test. It seems Raman told the candidate, I have admitted you to the institute because of your character. You are not very good at physics, but I can teach you. Children, here shows the generosity of Sir CV Raman. When he admitted that person, he was curious. I have not done well in my test, but still I got admission here. How is that possible? He asked in such a way, and Raman replied that you are not selected for your test when looking back at your test marks. No, you are not good at physics, but still I liked your character, the sincerity, the obedience, what you have given back the amount, you have returned the excess of money. So I know that you are not good at physics, but still I can teach you. So this sincerity made you to admit here. In this way, Raman showed his kindness, generosity towards the people, those who are in need. So this is today's video session, children. Still you have some achievements made by Sir CV Raman, and what are all the awards he got. Let us discuss all these things in the next session. Children, go through the textbook PDF format once and try to remember the points which I have explained. So, thank you children. Stay home, stay safe. Jai Shri Guru.